Caring for someone with dementia is one of the toughest journeys, but you don't have to do it alone. I'm Allison Schreier, and my experience caring for my husband inspired me to create Zinnia, a therapeutic streaming service designed to support people living with dementia and reduce caregiver stress. Our research-backed videos are engaging, easy to follow, and they help ease the daily challenges like agitation and anxiety so that you can focus on connection and joy. Available by subscription on mobile and TV apps, Zinnia makes every day a little bit easier. Go to zinniatv.com and sign up for a free trial today. Use the code RESOURCE for 15% off an annual Zinnia subscription.
And welcome to Alzheimer Speaks Radio. I'm your host, Lori LeBay, and I'm so excited that you're joining us today. We are going to have a fascinating conversation as usual as we learn from people all around the world at all ages and stages of life. Stay tuned as we shift our dementia care from crisis to comfort. Here we go. What you think about, you will bring about.
Well, hi, ladies. It's just lovely to have you both back with us. I'm excited for this conversation today. But before we dive into finding joy and purpose in the whirlwind of dementia, I'm going to have you each introduce yourself. And Marianne, if you want to go first.
I'm Anne Roberto. I'm the owner of Elderwell Adult Day Program, and I'm the co-owner of the Memory Connection and Always Home Connected. I started this journey with Alzheimer's in honor of my mother when I got her diagnosis, which I guess would be about 11 years ago, and not knowing where to start or what to do. And after she passed 8 years ago, I changed my entire career path to help people that were going to walk in my footsteps one day, have an easier go at it.
Yeah, they all deserve an easier go, that's for sure. Debbie, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Debbie Axel. Similar to Marianne, I started my journey. My mother had Alzheimer's. Unfortunately, I was about 3,000 miles away. So my brothers were keeping me apprised of everything that happened. And when Marianne's mother and my mother were very close to both having Alzheimer's, and when they passed, we started Always Home Connected, which is our e-commerce store, and then found a need for the Memory Connection, which is a 501c3 nonprofit, which, as Marianne said, we're both co-founders, and it helps communities that may not have the resources to go to an Always Home Connected or any other e-commerce store. We do, whoever's in need, we're happy to help, whether it is sending products for folks who may not need it. We also focus on the sandwich generation, which are those people who are caught in between taking care of their kids and their parents. And as Marianne also said, we are excited to offer scholarships nationwide to adult day centers.
Oh, fantastic. That's wonderful to hear. Well, I'm really interested in hearing about Elderwell, which is a new adult day program that you started in Santa Monica. So what inspired you, Marianne, to kick into that gear?
When my mom was alive, she lived about 30 minutes from me, how the crow flies, but sometimes it could take me 2 hours to get there in traffic. And when we decided to relocate my mom to Santa Monica, in the perfect world, I would have loved for her to stay in our home with us. But due to my full-time job at the time and that, I was looking for a place like this that she could go to during the day and not be experiencing isolation at home and meet friends, build new friendships, and have activities to do. But there really wasn't a place in my area that checked off all of my mom's boxes. My mom had a lot of boxes. And so I ended up putting her into a wonderful senior living community where she lived out the rest of her life. But I always wished she could have been somewhere like this. And then I found Kara and Ken in Boston who had Elder Well Adult Day program, and I had actually reached out to them about our activity boxes because we sell group activity boxes. And when I heard about their program and how they were starting to franchise it, I literally got on a plane and went to Boston. And I spent 5 days there, and I came home and became one of their first franchisees. And for the last 2 years, we've been under construction in Santa Monica, getting through all the red tape and everything we need to do. And here we are now, proudly open. And I just think it's such a benefit to the community and to the sandwich generation, especially. I mean, place where you could drop off a parent, a loved one, sometimes even a spouse. And your kids go to school and you have that respite during the day that you need. And when people are looking into long-term care for their loved one, an adult day program comes in at a much cheaper cost than it would be at private care at home hourly. So we hope that helps bridge that gap for families and offer a wonderful environment for them.
Well, that's fantastic. Now, is this just for people with cognitive issues?
I know we specialize in Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia, but any senior experiencing isolation at home that needs to get out there and have a fun day filled with purpose. We have everything from sensory therapy to cognitive therapy, music and art therapy. We have pet therapy. Animals come in, service animals. I mean, it's 8 to 4, Monday through Friday, non-medical, social supportive. Breakfast and lunch are included. Exercise twice a day. It's a fun-filled day.
Wow. Here in Minnesota, we lost so many adult days during COVID, and they haven't bounced back. And the ones that stayed, they're only 3, maybe 4 hours a day, which so many caregivers say it's just not enough time for them to get respite. By the time they get them ready and drop them off, they're turning around and picking them up again. So 8 to 4, that's incredible. Is that a stay for one person, or is that divided up by 2 families at all? Or
what do you mean?
So can a person stay that whole time, or do you serve like 2 people from the 8 to 4? Is it split in half?
No, we can a full day. People come.
Okay.
Some people come half day, but some people come the full day. We can have up to 30 people here a day.
Okay. Wow.
And then we also offer like a monthly membership for someone who just wants to make sure that space is safe for their loved one. And, schedules are hectic. We know that we have a space slotted out for them every day because we have our staff here as a 4-to-1 ratio.
Sure. Okay. 4-to-1. That's great. Too. I don't think families always understand what that really means. Can you talk a little bit more about the importance of that ratio?
Well, the importance of that ratio is that people are getting the individual care that they need. People that come to Elderwell need to be able to perform their own activities of daily life. We do light continent care, we do medication reminders, but they need to be able to use the bathroom and other things on their own. But I feel with the 4-to-1 ratio, people not only get the time and attention they need, but also get one-on-one if they need help, whether it's doing an activity, learning something new. We do computer classes, we do, you name it, we've got it going on here at all times. And I think that sometimes people enjoy the one-on-one attention that they can get. Most memory care communities, I think, are ranging like 8-to-1, maybe, I don't want to speak for anything in our neighborhood. I mean, everyone's doing the best they can right now. I mean, they're doing God's work at these places, but it's hard.
Yeah,
it's really hard.
Yeah, it's hard, and staff consistency is really difficult. I know here in Minnesota, and I know I've been kind of pointing out some of the black holes, which some people might not appreciate, but I don't really care because we can't plug those holes if we don't talk about them, And then we have to raise the companies that are able to serve in different ways, in an elevated way. That's important for families to know that there's a difference out there and why those differences, matter. And so, like I said, I'm just so excited of the length of hours you guys are open because, boy, my support groups would just be off the charts to be able to have something like that available. And we just don't have anything like that available here in the Twin Cities. Anyways, not that I'm aware of in our area.
we try when people come to Elderwell to be a one-stop shop. So like when someone has been with our program and then it's time for them to graduate from the Elderwell program, we want to be here to assist the families for what that next step is. And, I've gathered a large source of resources of companies that I would trust them with my mother. And that says a lot that, we can help them with the next steps after, their time at Elderwell is complete.
Well, I just was talking with Vince, who's at Daybreak in Detroit, and they've been serving people for 100 years. The story was just amazing. But they just opened their adult day right in, what did he say, in 2020, and they were open for like 3 months and then had to close down and then open back up in 2021. And they have the same philosophy. They want to be a resource to the family. And that is so important. And not all businesses do that. And families need to know that it's okay to ask, for those things, because there are people out there that are prepared to help you. Or if they can't, hopefully they'll refer you to somebody who can. But that can, I always say when a family adapts to any type of service, when they hire you for their loved one, they're hiring you for them too, to support and help them through the process and be able to care the best that they can and be aware of, like you said, those next steps and things too. Now, you had talked a little bit about some of the programs. I love that you have the pet therapy. Do you guys do any like OT or anything there? Specific?
We do not specifically, no. But we try to incorporate a lot of those things in our sensory activities and stuff per day. Everything, all of our activities, come with purpose. So we try to, it's a full academic day.
So when you talk sensory, some people don't really know what that means. Can you give some examples of sensory activities?
Like yesterday, we had a kit out of all different kinds of smells. And, there were certain things that I couldn't identify with either. It took me a minute, so we do anything from smell. We did taste, we do fun things. Like the other day, I brought in 6 different kinds of apples. I cut them all up. I had name tags for everyone and we were all trying to guess. I got, 4 out of the 8 correct. I was a little disappointed in myself, but we try to incorporate things that we would use in our daily lifestyle into the activity, not just arts and crafts. Everything has a kind of a purpose behind it. A lot of stuff with different fabrics and touch and exercises that even though it might be an art thing, we're doing stretching and moving and different things like that.
Yeah, that's important. And I would imagine even with sounds and stuff, you do stuff with music and things. Yeah, that's nice to have that kind of variety, and then to be able to supply the 2 meals a day there. Now, I know some adult days will do, and not all of them, but some will do anything from toenails to showers and things like that. Do you guys get into that at all or not?
Speaking of that, the Memory Connection, which is our nonprofit, has sponsored Beauty Bus to come here every Wednesday. That's called Wellness Wednesdays. And they're here from 10 to 3
every Wednesday of the year.
And they do haircuts, hairstyles, mini facials,
nail polish changes,
mini manicures, hand massage.
Oh, and nice.
Tomorrow is our 3rd Wednesday since we've started, and we've been booked solid. And it's for the people that are attending Elderwell and everyone in the community that like to sign up, or the caregivers or nurses. Our first week, we sponsored Indalo Homes, which is a beautiful small boarding care in Santa Monica, and their residents and caregivers came. Last week, we opened it up to the community on Nextdoor and met some wonderful new people that were so grateful for the program. And tomorrow, we're doing it with our Halloween bash that we're having here.
Fun.
Yes.
Fun. What people don't always understand is those cuts and styles, the nails, the facials. Those are all such intimate, services. And as we age, we don't get touched as much. We don't have those physical connections as much. And they're really critical. I know when my mom, for example, was, she lived in a memory care in a nursing home. And my daughter would always bring nail polish because it's just such an intimate thing to hold somebody's hand and have a conversation and, really pay attention and spruce them up, and they feel good about it. And the person doing it feels good. So those are really important things. Sometimes people think they're just foo-foo-y things, and they're way deeper, I think, than that. There's a lot of pride in that, just like when somebody takes a picture of you, if there's film in the camera or not. And I don't know if you've ever tried this exercise with your people or not, but just taking a picture of somebody, even if someone's sleeping, they wake up, when they hear say cheese, because they know that's an important thing. It's someone's capturing them, someone's paying attention to them, and that doesn't always happen every day, so a lot of those little teeny things really, really can matter a lot. Now, when you found out, you said you met with this couple about Elderwell. How long have they been in this business and deciding to franchise?
Caring for someone with dementia is one of the toughest journeys, but you don't have to do it alone. I'm Allison Schreier, and my experience caring for my husband inspired me to create Zinnia, a therapeutic streaming service designed to support people living with dementia and reduce caregiver stress. Zinnia offers research-backed videos intentionally created for people with dementia, engaging, calming, and easy to follow. Whether you need to ease agitation, create moments of joy, or make daily routines smoother, Zinnia is here to help. Family and professional caregivers use our content to turn challenges into opportunities for connection. Accessible by subscription on mobile devices and connected TVs, Zinnia is simple to use whenever you need it. Because when caregiving feels easier, life feels better. Go to zinniatv.com and sign up for a free trial today. Use the code RESOURCE for 15% off an annual Zinnia subscription.
They've had Elderwell, and I don't want to quote on this, but they've had Elderwell Adult Day for over 15 years. But prior to that, Care and Ken have always been in the senior space. They had a home agency before. They were in the franchise world on that side. They've been in this from the beginning of their careers.
Okay, so they're very well rounded and established in terms of.
And then they realized how needed the Adult Day program was, and that's why they started Elderwell.
Now, are you guys tied in at all with the guide program, the dementia guide through Medicare?
I have signed up for that. I'm waiting to hear about that, but yes, we are part of the guide program.
Okay, because that was the number one thing when I've interviewed the clinics that have signed up through the guide program. That was the number one thing they were excited about, was the Adult Day programs. And I remember talking to people and going, well, good luck finding them, because so many had gone by the wayside. And they're like, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, they're not as easy to find as they used to be. And they're really, really needed. So anything that they can do at the Medicare level to help expand these programs would be massively huge, because they are so important to family and the person diagnosed as well. It just makes so much sense to be able to have these services and, keep people living at home and out of the hospitals and the clinics and, feeling purposeful and engaged. It's a big to-do. So I really hope to see more expansion in the adult area and people really understanding. Have you guys ever talked about, the names of even the Adult Day program? Have you guys ever, because a lot of people are just like, it's like daycare, and they don't like that name tagged onto it. I know you've got your Elderwell, but again, when it gets mushed in with that whole Adult Day, I think there's a lot of stigma there still with families and people using the program. Have you seen that, or maybe not where you're at?
Absolutely. And my tagline under mine is Senior Enrichment Center.
Good. I think
I
that's
actually have a coworker who, when I told the coworker, her husband is much older, and when I told her about it, she thought of it as you're saying, as more of a stigma, like,
Hmm.
oh, I don't know. And now he comes here and loves it.
Hmm.
It's a whole different thing on how you perceive it and then how you see it. And one thing I will say is Marianne has done a magnificent job of making this senior center just comfortable, like you're at home. It's beautiful. And like I always told her, if there was a shower here, I'd move in.
Yeah. Well, from the pictures I saw, so many of them are in old schools or churches, and they have the kind of standard folding chairs. And I mean, it's not, I saw the couches in the sitting areas and things like that. And what a huge difference that makes in terms of where you are and what's possible in
Look at
your life.
behind us, the wallpaper
Yep.
itself. I mean, it's beautiful and it just carries out through the entire center. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Good job, Marianne. Good job. That first impression is important, but maintaining that and building around that, again, it does enrich their lives and it does provide a sense of dignity and things. So good for you on that. I think that's absolutely fantastic. How has the community? I know you said it kind of took you about 2 years to get things up and running. People have no idea how long it takes, to pull all this stuff together with regulations and just finding the space and then building it out and all of those things. It's a ton of work. Needless to say, how has the community received you overall?
With open arms. They've been amazing. The mayor of Santa Monica has been incredible. Once we got past the point of the permits and all that stuff and the construction, I mean, everyone that comes in here, is thanking me for adding this to the community, now, but, we're just trying to get more people in here. It takes a long time to fill as the new kid in town.
Yeah. It's spreading that word and, yeah, but it sounds like you're doing it in a fantastic way. What advice would you share with families who are exploring adult day programming?
I think I would say that it's important for your loved one to, I know some people feel that, how do I say this? Like, and I felt this with my mom, I have to be the one taking care of her. I need to know where, I need to be with her at all times, but they also enjoy some change in their day too. And they enjoy being around their peers. And it's also, I think the most important thing is you can't be the number one caregiver for your family if you're not getting the respite you need. So trust the people that are out there doing this and let them help you and accept the advice that they're willing to help you with and stuff. And because you have to take care of yourself too. That's the most important part, I feel.
Yeah, and it's really hard to get run down. I know for myself, I didn't know how run down I was until I finally took time, a little respite time for myself and got together for coffee with my friends. And it was like, oh my gosh, I'm on empty. Thanks for filling me up because I felt like a new person walking out after that. And I had no idea I was running that low until I got filled up. I just ignored the signs because there were so many other things that I needed to do for that person and work and my family. And I mean, the list just kind of goes on and on when you're a care partner in that situation and stuff. So yeah, slow down because you'll all have a better life,
I had a lady come in the other day with her daughter, just go on a tour. I thought they were just coming on the tour and leaving. And when you have those wow moments that make you realize, I'm so happy I did this. She turned around to her daughter and said, can I stay today? And she ended up spending the whole day with us and enjoying it. And that to me was like every reason I built this place.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, for the caregivers, you also support them as well. What types of things do you do for the family caregivers?
Well, as soon as we're up and running a little bit more, I'd like to get some support groups started here. And we would love to have you one day come out here if you would. But also, like when we were talking about Beauty Bus, like people don't realize, like when you're taking care of someone, going to get your nails done yourself is
Yeah.
a treat, because what do you do with the person you're taking care of for an hour and a half or two? So that's also what Beauty Bus is for. So someone can come here, get a service done for themselves, and their loved one can participate in activities and stuff here for free while they're doing that, and know that they're being taken care of as well.
Oh, that's nice. I know we had a group that was, and we had like memory cafes and support groups and stuff that I've done, and then we created one which was like a re-entry program for caregivers after their journey. And one of the things that was really common is people are like, I don't even know what's in style anymore. I haven't gotten my nails done. I don't know if my hairstyle's in. I don't know even to go shopping what to buy, because they haven't focused on that. They've been wearing their sweatpants and running around the house, getting stuff done, and not really being so much out in public and stuff. And so I think that's really healthy. Plus, it connects people to other people on the same journey. It allows them to kind of see what's going on, in the daycare as well, So I think that's always an important thing for people to feel comfortable and calm and build that trust, when they see that their person's being well cared for and things. And it says a lot about your mission and your vision in terms of really being holistic with the family.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had any issues finding staff at all? I know that's an issue kind of all around the world for people, but yet I know a lot of times with new places that can be a draw too.
Well, we have a pretty amazing group here so far, knock on wood. I have a program manager that, used to live in New Zealand and was a nurse there. We have some retired teachers that are working for us. We have one teacher who, taught special ed, so she's really understanding all the products and purpose and stuff. And we have some CNAs that really, they love working here because it's 8 to 4. The hours are the same as the children they have at home. There's no night shifts. And it's a fun day here.
Well, I know you sent me over the video, and we're all anxious to see it. So why don't we take a peek at that right now?
All right, here we go. Enjoy.
So what a great video. Is there anything that the two of you would like to highlight that really stands out to you in the video?
Well, it was really important when designing the place to have different areas for sitting, so people that are more social could be together, as you can see, on the right-hand side. And on the other side, if people need more one-on-one attention, they can have that as well, but feel very comfortable in the environment they're in. This room that we've dedicated the Beauty Bus, you can see the pictures on the wall are 3 generations of my family, all in black and white, which sometimes feels like an hour with someone just talking about the hairstyles and the way people used to dress. And it's just such a natural trip down memory lane. And, we have the full kitchen, where we have a chef cooking food. When you come in here, it's just filled with love. And I think I love it. I mean, I love it. I know my mom would love it. And that's all that really matters to me, is this is exactly how my mom would like this place set up.
Oh, cool. Well, and people can feel that good juju, when they walk in the door or just talking with you. Debbie, anything that you want to add to that?
I love coming here just for me and for a peace of mind. I think that what Marianne has done with Elderwell, like I said, it's phenomenal. And when I see her guests who are here partaking in the activities, it's such a warm and nurturing atmosphere that it just makes you feel good being here. I love dropping in. I love talking to the ladies and the gentlemen who come over here. It's a really wonderful place. She did an amazing job, and her mother would be beyond proud of her. So it's fun. I wish my mom only had somebody who took her to get her nails done every day. So she had beautiful nails. But this is so much more. And people need to understand, as we were talking about before, that a place like this sometimes has a stigma that you're dropping them off and it's too baby-like. It's not at all. It is enrichment. There is conversation that is sparked between everybody who comes here. It's really wonderful. And you learn a lot about the people who come here and about their lives. And I think it's really fun to hear that. A lot of times what people do with older people, they just, but you get to listen. And when you listen and you understand what their life was like, it's just amazing.
Yeah, they're just full of wisdom. And I think it teaches us too how often we might hear somebody, but we don't really listen to what it is. We just kind of bend an ear, but nothing sticks, nothing resonates. And yet their stories are so powerful, their insights, even if the timing is off, it doesn't make any difference. They're still sharing their feeling of a moment that they remember. And that's powerful, because I don't think we do that as much as we need to do that nowadays. I think we've gotten so task oriented, and we're thumbing it with our texts. We don't give people eye contact. We don't sit down and take the time to talk.
This Christmas, give more than just a gift. Give encouragement, inspiration, and joy. In the Crosswalk Holiday Gift Guide, you'll discover a curated collection of meaningful books and devotionals that celebrate faith, family, and the real reason for the season. This Christmas, we invite you to share comfort, quiet, or excitement with each person on your gift list. From beautifully illustrated Bibles and devotionals to novels and picture books, this guide holds the perfect book for every reader, including yourself. So stuff those stories into stockings, wrap collections with care, tuck a book or two into your own nightstand, and join us in celebrating the wonder of reading this Christmas. Explore the Crosswalk Holiday Gift Guide and find something special for everyone on your list. Visit crosswalk.com/gift guide today.
I really worry about our younger generations, because they're so in tune to that. Not all of them, but an awful lot of them. And being able to pick up on somebody's nonverbal communications that's most of our communications, and yet we're still trying to force somebody to say words and stuff. So being able to let them communicate to us however that works for them, and not correct it. Like you said, reminiscing on the pictures and things. Those are great times, and they're wonderful, wonderful memories. And they give families ideas of how to interact, when they're not there as well, and how to keep engaged as well. So I think that's really important. So good job. Well, let's talk about memory connection. And I know you said that you kind of initiated that once you started on this path with Elderwell. Is that correct?
It was it was a combination. Elderwell was Marianne's dream for her mom. It came out more of, I think, Always Home Connected, because we've curated so many products that we think would be great for all stages of dementia. But it occurred to us that there are so many people that are struggling out there that, they don't have the resources to just go online and perhaps purchase something. And so we decided that it was, let's create a nonprofit and raise some money for those folks who may not have the resources in communities that aren't close to anybody. And, we'd love to help these communities and families. And so that's why we created the Memory Connection, because everybody deserves some dignity and everybody deserves resources. And especially in these times that are a little dark, if we can be helpful in any way to help a family, that's what we want to do. And we're lucky enough that Marianne has a program like Elderwell, and that Ken and Kara, the franchisors, there are other franchisees, and we're lucky that we can raise money for scholarships, not just for Elderwell, but for other communities that are similar, that might, scholarships for people to attend adult day centers. That is one of our big initiatives with the Memory Connection. Along with the other resources we have, that's really what we're trying to do, is to raise money for people to attend adult day centers nationwide.
Well, that's fantastic because it is tough. I hear it all the time in our support groups of like, gosh, I just don't think I can afford that. And as grocery prices and insurance and property taxes, everything just keeps going up. It's getting tougher and tougher for people to be able to afford a respite and to afford that extra care and engagement for their loved ones. And so it is a serious problem out there that, we need more companies like yours to jump in and fill the gaps, because it seems like the government's just poking more holes in it lately than anything. And we're kind of, I don't know, I think a lot of seniors are feeling like they're on a leaking ship right now, and they don't know how to maintain being afloat. And so having a company, if they get a scholarship or not, I mean, I think it fills their heart just knowing that there's somebody out there trying to help, because I think so often they feel overlooked and underappreciated for all they've offered, the world, in their lifetime. And, they of course saw their lives very different than how they're playing out right now. And so that support is really critical. Let's talk a little bit. I probably should have had you introduce Always Home Connected, because you had talked about your products and stuff that you have there and how you utilize those with the memory connections. So can you tell us a little bit about Always Home Connected too?
Well, the products we sell on our e-commerce store go everything from you shopping online to be like, what's something I could get my mom or grandmother that would be useful for her right now at this point in her life, to an activity box that's something that you and your grandchildren could do together with mom to bring that connection and conversation starters together. And I think the purpose behind most of our stuff is not about the actual activity they're doing, but about how does one start those conversations with someone, rather than a kid being on their iPad and grandma sitting there because they don't know what to talk about doing an activity. And in each activity, we give conversation starters and prompts so they can have stuff to start with. And then for senior living communities where we sell the group boxes, we know most senior living communities have an activities director, but those activity directors have days off as well. So I kind of call it as our substitute teacher in a box. So God forbid someone's out, oh my gosh, what are we going to do with the residents today? Oh, look, we have 10 of this activity with the instructions and the conversation starter. Any volunteer could do this thing and it be successful. Yep. All of our things, are always, let's end with success. Then we also have stuff like life stations and the Tover Toffel and the Cradle sold by Egeria that we sell for memory communities to have, and help when they're decorating those communities, have products in them that also are useful for the residents to use. So it's a little bit of everything.
Well, that's great.
If you go on the site, we also go through what's good and for what stage. So it's not just like there is a product, there's some information with every product that we have online,
which is really helpful for families. And, when you were talking about the activities people, a lot of times people don't realize how much time it takes to set up and organize all those activities and stuff too. And if a company is short staffed, well, then now they're also getting people to come to the activities and running back and forth. And so those boxes, I think, can help communities, not just when they're not available, but just in terms of the struggle with the staffing and the ease of being able to have something ready to do that makes sense and is appropriate to the various stages and things. Those icebreakers, because sometimes that's tough. You get new people sometimes in those roles that haven't been in them, and they don't know how to do some of those icebreakers or to entice people to come down and participate and stuff. So I think that that is all really, really helpful in and of itself there. I love that whole beauty bus thing. I just think that is such a cool thing that you guys are doing together, and is very, very popular. Now, is that a company that has a bus and they just get on it and do their beauty stuff? How did he come up with the term of the beauty bus?
They're a nonprofit, and they go anywhere from to communities like myself to the cancer ward at a hospital. I mean, they are all over. They are all over the city. I believe before COVID, I think they were a nationwide company, and that kind of shut down for a minute, and now they're trying to get back up. But yeah, the Beauty Bus Foundation and the woman that started the company, herself had a family story that got her to where she is today. And as we all know, that's where some of these best organizations come from, from the heart.
Yeah, I've never heard of it. I've never heard of it here in Minnesota. So that's great. I'd love to get one of those around here, and maybe they are, and I'm just not aware. That could be. I'll have to look them up and reach out and talk with them as well.
I'll send you an email for Ruth's contact info, and I'll connect you guys to talk.
And they're great. They provide the beautician.
Okay.
So, and we book the appointments, and these people who are the beauticians, they're doing it out of love most of the time for someone they knew and someone who needed help. So they love working with all the people that come in for appointments, whether it's a caregiver or the loved one who needs a little more attention. And I mean, our person, I think he's worked for the Emmys before in makeup and hair. And so it's a really a cool thing. And just they place people in, like Mary Ann said, all different areas, where people might need a little more, help.
I saw the True Love last Wednesday when it was time for him to take his 30-minute lunch break. And I turned around and I said, we have sandwiches for everyone. And he was sitting down with some of the people here doing the program. He's like, I'm going to sit with these guys today that he had just given a haircut. He's like, he has just the most fascinating stories. And he hung out with his whole supposed to be his uninterrupted break with them. So that just, to me, speaks volumes.
Yeah, that's really cool. Well, and I think of so many times I go in these communities, and those rooms can be pretty decent size, and they're not used very often, and I love this idea. I think this is really, really a cool one for sure. Let's talk about challenges of the sandwich generation and what they're facing, and how the memory connection can help meet their needs as well.
Well, I will say one of the things that we're really proud of that we have done, the city of Santa Monica has given us Sandwich Generation Appreciation Day. We got an official proclamation from the mayor of Santa Monica, and we were so excited about that because it is Memory Connection really does try and focus on the sandwich generation and those folks who are just balancing their lives, their jobs, their kids, their parents, everybody. So that was a real special day that we got that accommodation. So we were really happy about that.
So what's your date?
The date is September 30th.
Oh, that's very cool. That stuff's important. It's really important.
Well, it's nice that they recognize that, that there is a need. And everything kind of goes hand in hand. And then ends up in Elderwell eventually. So it was just really, it was a real special day for us. It was really fun.
I think people realize when they like to hear about the sandwich generation, like I always try to explain it, like say all of a sudden someone dropped off like a set of twins on your front porch and be like, you have to raise these two kids and be financially responsible for them. Like that would change my lifestyle immediately. Like, oh, we're not going on vacation this summer. We're not, this isn't the year we're going to paint the house, all those little things that you think are just normal costs. But when someone takes on like their parents and then also the financial struggles of supporting them, it's hard. And then they're also trying to get their kids through school and buy new cleats for soccer and let's not even start with thinking about their college fund. I mean, all of these things the sandwich generation is just stretched and stretched, I think, thinner every day. And people are having less and less children, and people are living longer. And, as like 10,000 people are turning 65 every day. And so I think the sandwich generation needs more of our help than anything. And, lots of times they aren't able to get to the supports they need because, both husband and wife or couples have jobs and are both making a decent living. But when you add another dependent on, that's a game changer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And here in Santa Monica, we had, as you know, last year, we're coming up to the anniversary of the fires that happened in and around Los Angeles. So there have been so many displaced seniors and
Sure.
all, in the area, and you have their kids taking care of them and their own kids. And so, it's become more and more of a challenge to make sure that they get the help they need.
And then the shock when they now have their parents living with them and be like, oh my gosh, how did we not know what was going on with mom or dad or both earlier? They shouldn't have been living alone.
Right.
How did we not know this? Everything seemed fine when we went over on Sundays for dinner,
Yep. Yeah. Well, and it's really easy to, pull it off for an hour or two. And anything over that, things, you start picking up on things. But prior to that, and again, if you're not looking for it because it feels okay, then you're not digging deeper and seeing if the bills are being paid, or if there's critters in the basement, or whatever that are sneaking in the house, or old food in the fridge. And because you don't check those things normally when everything is going well. I know for my folks, I always had this attitude that old was 10 years older than them, so I never had to worry about it, and then, excuse my language, but then shit hit the fan, and my dad had the nerve of getting cancer, brain cancer, and I mean, our whole world just exploded. And then mom's dementia on top of that. We had to really get force a diagnosis because the doctors really weren't addressing it. And then it was like, okay, now we just had a grenade go off here, and there was a lot of shuffling that I had to do, but everything appeared okay until it didn't. And that can be really hard when you don't have support to fall back on, and you don't even know who to reach out to, to ask for that. So, what you ladies are doing is so incredibly important. Now, I would imagine that you're always open for people to support your mission, if that is funding, or do you look for volunteers as well? How can people help support what you're doing with Elderwell and with your nonprofits? The Memory Connection is...
I think if people want to know more about us, they could go to thememoryconnection.org and check us out and check what we do. I mean, we would obviously love the support, whether it's to be, we have certain areas where you can support a scholarship for someone, or an activity box, or, maybe, send us a donation in the name of a loved one. We're open to anything, and we'll always put any donation to good use. We're coming up on Veterans Day, and we have a couple of people who are going to be getting scholarships to attend Adult Day Center because of that. And if you go on and want to know more about how to apply for a scholarship, we have all that information on the page as well, because I know we've been talking about that, but all that information is on the website as well. And yeah, we welcome anything, everything, and any questions, they can reach out.
Okay. So can we talk about how much would a scholarship run, so that people have an idea of that, in an activity box if they wanted to donate?
So if someone wanted to, let's say I want to give someone a month of adult day program in the somewhere nationwide, it would be $3,500, and that would be someone for 25 days of the month can go to an adult day program, or if they want to give that, it could be spread out into 2 days a week, or however you want to do that. If someone wanted to gift an activity box, I think that it's like $65, gives them a box that we would mail to someone in need, or we could promote a community that had, let's say, a nonprofit adult day program that needed group boxes as well. We also have, or if someone wanted to do, I'd love to pay for, sponsor a month of Wellness Wednesdays
Mm-hmm.
well, that's an option as well. We're something we didn't talk about is our puzzle drive.
Right.
So we're starting in November, and it's going to run through till January 29th, which is National Puzzle Day for all of us who didn't know that. We're having a puzzle drive similar to a toy drive.
Caring for someone with dementia is one of the toughest journeys, but you don't have to do it alone. I'm Allison Schreier, and my experience caring for my husband inspired me to create Zinnia, a therapeutic streaming service designed to support people living with dementia and reduce caregiver stress. Zinnia offers research-backed videos intentionally created for people with dementia, engaging, calming, and easy to follow. Whether you need to ease agitation, create moments of joy, or make daily routines smoother, Zinnia is here to help. Family and professional caregivers use our content to turn challenges into opportunities for connection. Accessible by subscription on mobile devices and connected TVs, Zinnia is simple to use whenever you need it. Because when caregiving feels easier, life feels better. Go to zinniatv.com and sign up for a free trial today. Use the code RESOURCE for 15% off an annual Zinnia subscription.
But we're going to collect puzzles, brand new puzzles, and we're going to distribute them to people, underserved communities, to memory care communities, and we're doing that nationwide as well. So we're looking for any schools or churches or businesses that would like to participate in something like that. And we just think it'd be a really fun way during this holiday season for people that want to be part of something, of the giving thing. But I don't feel right now is the time to be being able to ask for large sums of money from people, but someone can still feel part of something by buying some puzzles at the dollar store, let's say, or anything like that. So I just think it's a nice way to let the community know more about seniors and activities that are useful.
Now, have you ever tapped into Puzzles to Remember with Haley Richmond at all?
No,
but we should.
So Puzzles to Remember at gmail.com is how you get a hold of Haley. But she's like amazing. She's in high school. She has two nonprofits. One is Puzzles to Remember, and the other one is Kid Caregivers. She gets a lot of puzzles from manufacturers, and she's always looking at places to be able to deliver them to. And so she might be really interested in connecting with you guys. I know that they send them out to communities and individuals, I believe, alike. And then Kid Caregiver might be something too, because she has gotten kids all around the world to go to places to volunteer, to maybe work on puzzles and do different things. So if you're ever looking for some intergenerational activity, that might be something too. But yeah, she's off the charts, incredible. Anything else that we should add? Otherwise, we can get people your contact information and wrap up here.
No, I think you've covered all of us.
Okay. Well, you guys got a lot going on, so that's really cool.
When are you coming over? When are you coming to Santa Monica?
I know, I haven't been out to California. Well, you're burning or you're...
We're good now. We're good. We're rebuilding. Everybody's rebuilding.
And it's a lot warmer here than where you are coming up in the next couple of months. So I see a winter trip in your future.
Yeah, wouldn't that be fun?
Personally tour.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yes.
That would be cool. That would be cool. Well, your website for the Memory Connection is just thememoryconnection.org, real simple. And email is info@thememoryconnection.org, 310-310-2975. And then you're on Instagram and Facebook. And then your website for Elderwell is elderwelladultday.com /Santa Monica. And then you can email them at Marianne with an E on the end at elderwelladultday.com. And that phone number is 310-310-8313. And they are also on Instagram and Facebook. And you can always find Marianne also on LinkedIn as well. We'll have all the information in the show notes and things for you there. So ladies, thank you so much. It's fun to see how much you've grown. I initially met you when you guys were doing Always Home Connected, And, to see these other two entities come into play and what you're doing is really something in terms of filling the gap, because there's a lot of gaps out there right now. So I wish you all the success. So thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Stay in touch.
I will. Now, for our audience, I always ask you to be a giver of hope. Like, click, and share. It's not because we're chasing the numbers. That's not important to us. What's important to us is to connect people to services, products, and tools. And you don't know who is in your sphere that is dealing with these types of situations and has never spoken about them. You might know a few, but the more information we can push out to people from a trusted source like yourself, the more likely people are going to reach out and grab it. And it might be a need they have, or it might be they're looking for a place to donate. And they want to give to someone who they feel is really heartfelt and understands the community need, which it's evident these two gals do. So thanks again, everyone. Bye now.
Bye. Thank you.
In wrapping up, I would just again encourage you to check out alzheimerspeaks.com and all our free educational resources. You can just go to the tab, free educational resources, and grab whatever you would like. You don't have to make an account. Same with dementiamap.com, our sister company that has not just content that we've created, but so many others around the world. So you can find, we've got like 150 categories that you can search. And we're always building out. We're not buying lists. So if you know of someone who has a service, product, or tool, if they are a profit, nonprofit, government agency, or if they are living with dementia or a caregiver that has something that other people need to know about, please reach out to me. I'd love to talk with them and get them on the map. So take care, everyone. Bye-bye, and thanks for being part of our community.
Want to keep God's Word with you wherever you go? The King James Bible Study KJV app by Salem Media makes it easy to read, study, share, and pray daily with the timeless KJV translation. Enjoy features like offline access, audio Bible listening, smart search, and tools to highlight, bookmark, and take notes, all designed to keep your Bible study simple and organized. Best of all, it's free to download in the Google Play Store. Grow in your faith every day. Search for King James Bible Study KJV and download the app today.